Welcome everyone. Today is March the 25th. Super excited to have the team here at Agritech. Man, I'm super excited about this one. I've been talking to the people at GemPad, and they tell me that this project has a lot of potential with their blockchain technology, and using, I guess, sort of like an agriculture aspect tied to their crypto. So I'm super excited to see what they have planned and to sort of integrate Web 2 within Web 3, and have a great token and a great model. I'm super excited. So I'm gonna let Robert here take it away. Robert, tell me a little bit about yourself. How you got into crypto, and then we'll get more into the Agritech token itself. Take it away.
Hey, how you doing, buddy? So my name's Rob Ramos. I'm a retired contracting officer for the U.S. Air Force. I also own a energy company out in Singapore, R2 Global Energy, where we kind of specialize in clean energy solutions, infrastructure, and finance. I have an OPEC license, so we use that to structure some clean energy, clean water initiatives. Also own a robotics company out of the U.S. called Macro USA, arguably the best robotics company for spy robots for the U.S. DoD and other countries for a while. And then, I got into some of this other stuff with the crypto as a result of some of the energy projects we were doing. We were asked by the G20 and the G20 and the UN if we could help to find a solution for this agriculture problem that's going on now with food sustainability and food security. And that's how we kind of got into the crypto side of things as part of that solution. This is my first crypto project, so I'm very well versed in the corporate world over 30 years, but crypto is a different world, and we're trying to find a way to bridge this thing so that we have a sustainable model that can keep funding itself, so there's less reliance on governments for subsidies and money, throwing money at a problem. We found a solution, I believe, that's going to solve this. Oh, that will solve it. We already know it's going to solve it. It already works. So that's how I got into the crypto space.
Okay, that's great. It seems like you're very, well versed. I'm super like you. I guess I'm a little bit interested. I guess this could be a little bit off topic, but if you could explain a little bit about the spy. Did you just think about spyware, some sort of for the U.S. military? That's pretty cool. Can you tell me a little bit
Spy
about that?
robots.
If you're allowed, if
Yeah,
you're allowed to disclose it.
I can. So we developed we call them tactical spy robots. So we own the technology for future soldier systems. So if you look up, like in Singapore, what a future soldier system package is, we developed that whole system for their Department of Defense. We did the U.S. Department of Defense as well, with the Army, the Navy. If you look up, Macro and the types of robots we have. So our model with our robots was that we kind of did a joint ventures with the different governments. They wanted to brand this stuff under their names for the governments, and we just provided the technology. But we developed the Idris system, which is the most advanced robot system in the world, and a couple other programs that we've done. We've done stuff in Thailand. I think we're in 12 countries, and yeah, that's where we started, really. A lot of really good engineers working on that stuff, and that was our corporate starting point. Then from there we went into the energy stuff. A little easier than dealing with engineers. Software and mechanical engineers aren't the easiest people in the world to deal with. so you have to find better ways to get things to market.
For sure, for sure. Man, that's super impressive. You have an amazing background, with building businesses, and I guess getting the right connections. Seems like you're very well connected within, I guess, the corporate world itself. So it's super exciting to see, you're venturing yourself into crypto. So let's talk a little bit about Agritech. So why did you want to choose? I guess, what is the idea? Like, where did the fundamental ideas for Agritech come from? And could you explain a little bit about the history of the project? Why did you want to start this type of project regarding agriculture? Why not something related to, like, I don't know, spyware, for example?
Okay, so we weren't looking for agriculture. Agriculture really wasn't on our radar. What we specialized in mostly was we would do these smart cities, these infrastructure projects clean water, clean energy, waste energy, any type of enhanced biomass. So things that we can, create a carbon neutral footprint. So I have an OPEC license. So we would bring in crude oil. The countries would crack it for us. We would use the revenue from the refined product to service a debt on creating these other things. So it created an offset, right, for the carbon. So that's what we did. That's what we were focused on. And then we came into a situation where the G20 for the last, 2 or 3 years in the UN, really pushing heavily on this thing, food security, which I didn't really know anything about. They're looking for a solution for it. And we were already working on traceability. Just because the commodity sector in the world, if anybody's dealt with trying to ship any type of energy or metal or food or anything globally, the fraud with the banks, shipping, the vessels, the inspection reports, all that stuff, it's just all garbage, fraud, scams. So we were coming up with a solution to resolve that, which we did. So when the big push for this food security, if you look up, the G20, Global Agriculture Food Security Program, you'll see this is a huge problem in the world. It doesn't get a lot of coverage, but right now, countries don't, create enough food to sustain their own populations. And now with things that happen like global crisis, energy, or not energy, but weather disasters, you had the pandemic, things like that. It really showed the how susceptible we are to our supply chain for food. So this was one of the things that they were asking if we could find a way to tie this in. They're trying to solve this problem. They throw billions of dollars at it, and it doesn't really solve the problem, concerts and things like that. So now they have this fund where they're paying these people to try to grow food, and they have all these subsidies to do that, which is great. It still wasn't solving the problem because unless you give somebody an offtake agreement, someplace they can sell that, nobody wants to be dirt poor and be able to eat. People have to have a sustainable living. So with the traceability program, all we did was shift focus over to the agricultural side so we could see what was being grown, where it was being grown, how much was needed. And, you see a lot of the stuff coming in comes from the government and their subsidies about what they grow. Like here in Thailand, where I'm at now, everything is a push for rice because that's what the government makes their money on when they export. So we just came up with a solution that they loved, which is that we are going to create the peer-to-peer marketplace. So in addition to creating the traceability, we are going to give every one of these farmers that receive these deposits of money to grow these things a place to offset. So now they can domestically and internationally be able to offload their products. Now they can grow what's in demand, and the market will dictate what they grow as opposed to the government dictating what they grow. So one of the unintended benefits turned out to be that we mitigated all brokers, intermediaries, the global value chains, that are put in place, which is just another fancy word for brokers. They're all mitigated because now you have direct peer-to-peer with your supplier, your farmer, or the guy producing whatever product that you want to buy, whatever commodity. So we did it through the blockchain. So it provided transparency. It provided accountability. We know who's on there logging on and certifying, approving things, shipping things in real time. And that's why it was kind of adopted. And then from there, we kind of moved into a project I'm in now in Thailand, which is a cannabis world, which, you're out in Canada, so you know what that's like. I mean, two of my big team members are from Canada. My software engineers from Canada came in for this project, as well as my, I guess you'd call him a cannabis engineer, the guy's the smartest cannabis guy I've ever met, both from Canada. So we, we transitioned over here because the government here recently legalized cannabis, but they have no control over it. Everybody started importing and shipping and selling, and everybody became a master grower. So what we did was we kind of modified our system so that we can track from seed to sale, so they can see what's coming in, what's being grown, what the THC content, inspection, certification, delivery, wholesale, retail, all the way out to the customer. QR code goes on there. You see exactly what you're buying. You know exactly where it came from, the farm, as opposed to these other guys that just have a bottle on there with a white sticker on there saying this is Gorilla Glue, and then you just take your chances. There's no certification, there's no verification, there's no transparency. So we've just brought transparency to a big problem. There's a huge demand for it. We're getting hit up all the time. We're in South Africa now. We're in the U.S. now. So we're just trying to grow smartly, but the demand for this has just gone kind of through the roof for us. So we're just trying to keep up with it.
Okay, great. That's really great to hear. It's great that you guys have, I guess, like a fundamental basis around agriculture and looking to with crude oil and stuff like that. I think there was like some project. I could be mistaken. I don't remember what it was exactly, but it was like something related to. It was kind of like a rebase token in a sense. It was about a year and a half ago, but it was similar to, if you ever heard of Olympus. Do you know what Olympus is? It was kind of like a rebase token. But yeah, they basically had like this carbon. Hold up, give me a second. I think my headphones disconnected. Okay, sorry, my bad. I think my headphones accidentally disconnected. But yeah, it was basically they were getting, I guess, sustained revenue in a sense, and it was through carbon like taxes, something like that. It was the money that was being made through what they were using with the carbon taxes and everything was just absolutely insane. But I just thought I'd bring it up because I felt like it was a little bit similar when you were trying to explain everything. So
that's
it's great that talk about the history about the project, but there's one thing that we really need to to crack down on. So if I'm not mistaken, Agritech originally launched on the 27th of February, but clearly something went a little bit wrong on the relaunch. So could you quickly touch on this and explain the improvements made from this round? Was there a problem with the contract? Was there a problem with what went wrong with that initial launch, I guess, in a sense?
Okay, so I don't want to blame anybody for what went wrong on that one. So I'll just tell you what happened. It's just a misunderstanding. It's my first project. We already had CEXs paid for, and we were trying to go from Pink Sale to our CEX, and they said that you can do that. It wasn't a problem. And then when we got into the pre-sale, then the owner, a guy named Saul, came and said, "Hey, this has to go to what is a Pancake Swap." We didn't want to go to Pancake Swap, but that's the only way that it can launch, and they never said they couldn't do it that way. So Pink Sale can only go to Pancake Swap. You can't go to a CEX. You have to go in there. It triggers the liquidity, and then you can go to a CEX. So they wanted all the tokens to go into Pancake Swap when we never had Pancake Swap kind of on our menu. So it kind of got messed up. The guy I was working with named Paul, we just kind of said, oh, they thought they could do it and they couldn't do it. And that was why. So the issue we had was the contract they couldn't change the contract so I can go to the CEX, so we had to just cancel it. And then people say I shouldn't be there anyway, so I should be on the Uniswap and the GemPad. So that's how that came about.
Yeah, GemPad's definitely, I guess a better launch pad. They're more, I guess, community-based and stuff like that. No bias or anything, but yeah, a lot of the stuff with Pink Sale happening recently, it's a little bit shady. But yeah, anyways, that's a different point. But yeah, great that you were able to touch on stuff. So for people, I guess that invested in a sense, you guys plan to do, I guess, I'm assuming an airdrop sort of thing, correct?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Yeah, so when you guys plan to do the V2, the relaunch on GemPad, I'm assuming you guys are going to be using have like an airdrop type thing for people that invested on the Pink Sale platform?
No, we never started. We got on there.
Oh.
And then we stopped. Yeah. So I think we had a couple of people that were trying to come on that we just said hold. We are going to be starting over. I mean, this happened like we got on. It was a 4-day, and like the first day, we were trying to get Trinos. He's the one who wrote the contract. Brilliant guy to try to make sense of this thing. Why we can't go on there, and then we just finally just stopped it. So that we wouldn't have to go through that process. So, but yeah, no, we didn't have to do anything with anybody. Okay. We never got that far.
All right, no worries. Okay, so yeah, before we jump into utility, what problems I guess is Agritech trying to solve, and what using these problems, how will they make an impact on on a meaningful difference within the crypto space?
Okay, so if I keep it just to the agricultural side of things, forgetting about the impact we're going to have with other commodities moving around the world, which I believe in the next 3 years, and if you do any research, they'll agree with me. The next 3 years, this is going to be the standard. This blockchain and this traceability and transparency. Right now, it's just a cluster out there on how this stuff gets done with the scams and fraud. So just keeping it to the agriculture. The issue with the agriculture is the big demand. I mean, the huge demand is food security. That's all you're going to hear about with G20 if you research and do anything food security. The UN as well. So there's an issue with not enough food. They're trying to get people to grow more food, and they want to be less dependent on import export. So you are self-sustainable. The model is garbage. So the only way to get people to do something is to monetize it. And they don't monetize it. They throw money at the front end of the problem, and it looks like you're doing something, but they don't put any money on the back end of the problem on who's going to be buying all this stuff. So these families have a way to sustain themselves as well as to grow food to survive. So the solution we provided was for that. So there's other benefits that the solution offered. So 800 million hospitalizations from foodborne illnesses, tainted food every year, 800 million. About 450,000 people die every year from tainted food. Of the 450,000 that die, it's bad, but the demand and the problem it creates for the healthcare systems in these underdeveloped countries is what's staggering. It's what kind of brings them to their knees. So the push is really, really hard to get some sort of traceability and accountability. When food moves from country to country, a lot of the laws are relaxed. A lot of people don't see where the food is coming from. With the traceability program, like what we have, the QR code, you go into any store and you scan that QR code, you're going to see exactly where it originated from, the farm, who inspected it, the inspection date, where it was processed, all the way to your store. So this nonsense, we have this problem in the U.S. I don't know how it is in Canada, but like Whole Foods, they say that they're local and farmer and all this other nonsense, and like 80% of their food comes from overseas, China and things like that, and it comes in and you never hear about it until the food is bad, and then there's no accountability because everything's rubber stamped. So with the traceability program we have, third-party KYCs have to be done for everybody that goes on there. So any inspection, certification, lab, delivery, all have to be registered on the system, so we know exactly where the breakdown is. It eliminates fraud, scams. The payments aren't released to the seller until after the product is received, but the payments are locked in the platform, like in a wallet, sort of as an escrow, either in fiat currency or the native currency, or in the AGT token, which they can use either one. And it just allows the buyer to have a lot of confidence in what they're buying. They know what they're buying, and they know that that what they got has gone through this chain of events, and the people that have signed in are all accountable for this. That's the benefit of it.
All right, sick, dude. I'm just going through like the alpha chat, man. They're like, man, this guy's owning some energy company. This guy seems like he's nobody's talking about. It's really great to see. I was just chilling on the alpha chat, just reading through the comments. Very, very cool. All right, seems like they're super interested.
Yeah,
seems like they're super interested. Super, super interesting. All right, so I see that you guys are looking overall to, I guess, launch on GemPad. So could you break down a little bit about your tokenomics as well as supply distributions? Do you guys plan to go on CEXs any potential time in the future? I think you mentioned the reason why you guys have never ended up launching the pink cell, but do you guys have have you guys been in talks with any CEXs? Just go a little bit about that, Robert.
Okay, so our tokenomics, I mean, the reason why we got into the tokens, the other traceability stuff with the blockchain was one thing. The tokens was mostly for a way for us to disperse funds. So we have a we have a revenue share model where we take the revenue from the company, and then we disperse it out to all the people holding tokens. So that's why we got into that. It gives some pretty good returns because we don't have any debt, we don't have any expenses. So we just, that's why we have the tokens, basically. That, because I come from the corporate world where I had to issue convertible notes, shares, things like that. In the crypto world, I didn't have to deal with that. I didn't have to have qualified investors. I didn't have to go through all the paperwork with, different things. You just buy, and all I see is a wallet. And, everybody has an exit. I don't have anybody bothering me about, if I'm going public, what's the strategy for disbursements, things like that. You like what we're doing, you hold your token, you're going to get a percentage of your money. We anticipate about 50 to 60% a month return on the investment, up higher than that. And then if you don't like what we're doing, then you sell your token, and that's good. But we wanted to create an environment where people weren't stuck on whether the token was 0.001 or 10 cents. We wanted to make sure that there was always revenue coming in no matter what you decide to do. And you pull your token, you sell it, good on you. You stay in with us, then we're going to keep, adding projects and technology, and we're going to keep growing the company, take it, as far as we can take it. As far as the splits, so I think we have everything pretty much locked. We have a 15%, 150 million that we're supposed to be burning. The founders tokens, I believe, are locked 2 years. There's a couple different on there locked 2 years. I don't have it in front of me, but I think 71% are locked for a while. I think we have just the staking programs opening up in a month so that we can get people that want to stake. But other than that, it's pretty much locked. We don't really have a lot of use for stuff other than our engineering. But a lot of that funding comes from the sales that we already have. So Agritech is already a functioning company. We've been doing this for over a year. We have the largest cannabis farm, well, probably the largest too in Asia. So I have an 8,000 indoor square meter facility. It's like 2 acres of indoor grow. We can produce right now about 1,400 pounds of dry flower monthly. That's about, for what we do a wholesale and a kind of a retail model, a consignment model. So that will net us about, minimum 6 million US a month just in Thailand. We also just opened up South Africa and some other places that we've been discussing. I have the only extraction facility. I have 2 biotech labs in Thailand. I have the only extraction facility. I have FDA approved products. I think I sent it out to you guys so you can see what we're doing there. So I have medical grade pharmaceuticals as well as cosmetics that we are now allowed to export. We're working with US. We were to export to Australia, again, South Africa, any place that we're doing business, West Africa. So we have that going for us. And we have, we're looking at 50 resorts, cannabis leisure resorts in Thailand. We have one just licensed. We're the only one in Thailand that has cannabis leisure resorts. I put a couple doctors in there, Thai traditional doctors, so we can tie in the traditional medicine, which Asia is known for, with leisure travel and hospitality. We have the only one of those. We're going to have 50 of those, and then we're anticipating 400 retail relationships, but we don't have any retail spaces, so we don't have any overhead. I don't have any expenses as far as any of the stuff that we do. It's all pretty much driven on commission, and there's no shortage of demand for cannabis. So it looks like it's something that just goes up and up and up.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's crazy, man. You guys have like the biggest cannabis, I would say incubation. I'm sorry, I'm not too I guess knowledgeable on cannabis and growing and stuff like that. I guess greenhouse, I guess, in a sense. That's really amazing.
Yeah,
but my question is, why would you want to, you have all these things. Clearly, you're very successful yourself. You run a lot of businesses and stuff like that. So why would you want to start, like, I guess, a cryptocurrency that's, I guess, tied into the cannabis and agricultural space? Like, is it just more of like, as like a side project? What do you see, this project long term and stuff like that?
Okay, so I can be honest with everybody in here, and I'm sure it's not a surprise. This hasn't been a pleasant experience. Coming from the crypto world, coming from the corporate world into the crypto world, everything is backwards, right? In the corporate world, everything's based on valuations. what your assets are, what your financials are, what your receivables, things like that. In the crypto world, it's just, whatever you make it. You give a nice low market cap and you make a bunch of tokens and you talk about your business. But the problem we ran into is that this isn't like a crypto project. I've sat in on a bunch of AMAs, and I mean, these guys are amazing, the stuff that they develop. I mean, they're super, super brilliant. But it's hard to know what financials, if it's a sound business model, are they going to make money? And then you see the numbers, how many of these go under. And I mean, coming from the corporate world, you can see why right away. I can see, this isn't going to go anywhere. But we got into it not for that. We got into it because for me, it was the easiest way to disperse money. I didn't want to have to deal with people sending me, qualifying people and having to go through the process of being an accredited investor and then dealing with venture capitalists and things like that. Plus, we funded it all ourselves. I didn't need money for this. So it was just about how we were going to disperse the funds. So this project, what we call in our circles is what I call my wealth builder. Letting as many people in as low as possible, and we go into other countries and they can buy in at the same price. It's a really, really cheap price. And if we can offer 100% return a month on that money, I don't need to make a lot of money to do the return. The math is quite simple. This is what I like about it. So you basically take your revenue, let's just say we're doing 1.5 million. You divide that by the tokens. We only have 850 million tokens. So you divide by 500 million tokens, and it comes out with a price per token. And then you see that you're making 100% on the money. That's the only reason why we went into the crypto, and to be able to use it for our 400 stores, our resorts, to pay for the things that when we go into other countries, we do the same thing. They can use for the agriculture, food peer-to-peer. They can use the token, but we don't require it. Or they can just use their their native currency. But the main focus was how to disperse the money, and this was the way we wanted to do it. We had to do a lot of research to make sure it wasn't going to be kind of a security token. There's a lot of gray area there, so we jumped in before we had to deal with that. Singapore went through it, and we didn't have any issues. We did get on 2 exchanges. CoinW and DigiFinex were the 2 that we had. We were approved with KuCoin. And this time around, we're starting with what's the one we have to do from GenPad? Uniswap. We're starting with Uniswap and then going to the CEX. So we learned from the last one that starting on the CEX wasn't the best way to go. But nobody tells you that, right? Everybody's a crypto expert until you fail. Then they all say the same thing. Oh yeah, you should have went this way. So that's what I'm learning about crypto.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of people, especially you could say the same thing about like Bitcoin and stuff like that. Everyone was saying, oh my God, Bitcoin's going to 10K, 11K, whatever. Now it's at what, 28,000, and then they're like, oh, told you so. Like, dude, you didn't tell us anything at all. You told us it was going to dump at 11K. But dude, I totally get what you're saying. Crypto it's a very, like, it's a different type of investing. Obviously with corporate stuff, there's a lot of venture capital, there's a lot of security issues as well, to make sure, I guess these people really have their money back. I guess crypto is a little bit, I guess decentralized in a sense, which is why, what makes crypto. But that's great. It really makes sense for you guys to have, I guess, a model in which, depending on how many tokens you buy at the bottom or depending on how many tokens you buy at 2-3 mil market cap, let's say, it doesn't even matter, even above or beyond, you have, a say in how many tokens you own. You own, I guess, I like to think of it as you're trying to explain it, more of like a percentage of the revenue in the company as well.
Exactly.
Is that correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. We're treated just like a regular corporate structure, where instead of me giving out disbursements based on percentages owned, it's the same exact thing. The wallet's telling me what you own. The simple math tells me how much per token you get, and then we airdrop. And we don't airdrop our tokens; we airdrop USDT. So we're not trying to manipulate our token prices by airdropping them to people who sell them and all that stuff. We're just going to give you the money, and you want to buy more, you buy more.
Yeah. So do you guys plan to have, I guess, the tokens, I guess, like in a staking dashboard, and then like every month, let's say, you put in the USDT and then it gets split up into like everyone's, like wallet, I guess, in a sense, where people could claim their rewards and such?
Yeah, so the way it's explained to me, and like I said, everybody's an expert until it fails, but the way it's explained to me is that we will have our accounting done and we have a net, and let's just say it's $1 million. So we would have to purchase $1 million worth of the USDT, and then those would automatically be airdropped to all the wallets proportionally, through the program, and then they would just have to receive it in. So our website will be changing to a Web3 so that you can log in and download your USDT, and then you can also go back on and lock more in for the next month. So you can just keep growing your pot as you grow. And we expect if people are holding, then the token price should go up, relative to what's available on the market. And then we expect with that, we won't have the issues with like trying to buy or issue more AGT and then have that up and down thing, people buying and selling the AGT. We're just going to do it all through the USDT, through that staking program on the website. That's the way it was explained by my engineers. So that's how we're doing it.
Okay, sick. So I guess using the USDT, because I was actually going to ask a little bit about, because like let's say you use the tokens or revenue, let's say you buy back the token, let's say, right? It becomes a point to, if the revenue is so high in a sense that it causes people to just pump and dump, and people want a good entry, they'll buy it, and like let's say when it dumps, and it just ends up in the end going to zero. So I really like that you guys are having a USDT type thing, where people could collect their tokens weekly, monthly, or whatever, how the developer chooses to do it, and you guys basically have like a revenue that is not based into crypto, because a lot of these projects and such like that, they're very, they're Web3 oriented and stuff like that, but a lot of the revenue is based around crypto. So let's say, for example, I'll name a pretty big project. So there's a project called The Bag, and basically a lot of their revenue, they make a lot of money, no doubt about that, but a lot of their revenue base is based around crypto, like Telegram bots in a sense. So it's great that you guys have a thing where it's it's integrating sort of Web 2 and Web 3 together, and then having a sustainable revenue model that's backed behind actual like real world assets like cannabis or
Right.
crude oil or whatever you guys plan to continue developing the business with. So I really like that. I'm super bullish on that. I really like projects that have, I guess, like external circumstances that have revenue based outside of crypto. So super
Right.
cool with that.
Asset backed. We want to be
Exactly.
asset backed. We want
Exactly.
to have product based crypto, so we know what we can kind of anticipate what we're going to make in the returns, and when we do our financials, on this thing, I say 50-60%, but when we actually do our financials, through the accounting and the audited, I mean, the numbers are so ridiculous. I mean, agriculture is a $16 trillion industry, and right now they're touching about 2%, and they're anticipating about 80% in the next 2 years of all agricultural products being on blockchain. This is where it's going, and we're the only people doing this, and I think that's because it's not very sexy, but there's so much money in this. But when we tried to put the numbers in based on what the projections were for what's going on, it just comes out to just this ridiculous numbers that if you throw it on a cash flow projection, nobody would believe it. That's why we just say it's 50-60%. Our expected revenue very soon is going to be over 2 million just on the flower in Thailand. And if you did the math with 500 million tokens staked, just assuming, that's what 75% of our token stake, which is kind of unheard of, because when we did our research, most projects only stake about 20%, 18 to 22%. But even at that number, you look at what the return is on investment for $1 million, and it's just mind-boggling. So, and a lot of that has to do with that we have no expenses also. We don't have retail space, we don't have rent. Even the biotech labs that we have, we don't pay for those. So it all works out.
Wow. Oh, so you mentioned a little bit. I think I misheard you or anything. So out of the 100% of the revenue, I guess, generated, you guys are going to dedicate. Did you say 70% to people that are holders of the token, or?
No, 100% of revenue goes back to the
token.
Oh,
100%. Okay, so where do you guys make money? I guess in a sense, is it from taxes and stuff like that from the token, or?
No, I own tokens also. I'm the founder.
Okay, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So this is,
I
yeah,
didn't
this
think
is
about that. I literally didn't think about that. My
yeah,
bad.
yeah. So this is why we get people like ask. You know, I have friends and family that are waiting to buy in, so I don't think we're gonna have any problems there. Like I called it my wealth builder, right? So we want to push for a monthly disbursement because I get paid when you get paid. I don't have like a separate fund that comes to me and then you guys have to wait to see how much I want to disperse. We have an accounting. It's audited. It's done. That gets posted. Everybody's information is posted. So just a wallet. You see what the tokens are, and then it tells you. You take that, you divide it by the amount of tokens, and it's just simple math. And this is what you get per token. You multiply that by the amount of tokens, and that's what your return is. And when we do the math, it always comes out to over 100% a month. And a lot of it has to do with that we've already funded everything. We don't have any expenses. I mean, I literally have no expenses on this project.
Okay, cool. Damn, that's great. Man, I'm super bullish about this. I'm definitely going to be, investing into the pre-sale. You heard it here, man. This is a great project, and I don't see that often because a lot of the people, they want to go, they get on AMAs and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, blah blah blah. And I'm pretty transparent. If I don't like the idea of a project, I'll tell them straight. I've done it many times before on AMAs, and they'll be like, well, that's not really like, it's not really sustainable, is it? And the devs usually they freeze up. But man, this is great. This is great.
Yeah,
So
this is
okay, so
only
let's
going one direction. This is only going one
sorry.
direction. The food sustainability, the food security. This is going to be huge. You guys, heard it here first. If you go do any research, this is all they're talking about. This is where it's going. I'm not saying we're going to own the market because there's probably people that are smarter than me, have more money than me. They're going to jump into this space, but we are here now, and I expect that we'll have this captured. It's taken us, a year just to develop the software. Like I said, we have software engineers from Canada that are doing some really good work to get that peer-to-peer, but this is going to be huge, huge. And the revenue is just going to keep going up and up and up. And you don't need to make a lot of revenue when you have, that many global transactions. And we're charging a fee for every transaction. The technology is free to sign up and to connect to, peer-to-peer around the world. But to actually do the transaction, there's a processing fee for that. So that revenue we haven't even factored in yet because it's too big of a number and it's so undetermined.
Okay, very true, very true. Okay, so let's, I went into the website, did a little bit of research before, obviously. Me and Mike always do a little bit of research, get some questions, cahoots and stuff like that. So, directly, we noticed when directly looking below the roadmap in Agritech's strategic partner section, it says that you guys have over 24 partners already listed. So how do these partners tie into the project? And, do you think it'll be difficult to, I guess, manage these because there's over, 24 different partners. So what is difficulty with managing them, I guess?
Well, okay. So I wouldn't say they're partners in a sense that we have to negotiate different things, but, from the corporate world to build the best robots, to build the best anything, you have to surround yourself with the best of everything, or at least try to surround yourself with the smartest people that can tell you what's right, what's wrong. So in this space, our model was to team up with companies like PACAN. They are a DoD biotech, herbal biotech, they're FDA licensed, things like that. So they're a partner of ours because they have this great facility that kind of had a hard time during COVID. Then here we come with this global application. So of course they want to team up with us. They just want to make shit to sell. We have the network to sell it. So we partnered up. They'll make it, we push it. Then you have places like ScienceSoft who helped us to develop the framework for what we're doing as far as like the technology, how to build that technology out. I mean, that was about a 6-month process. I'm sure you've done this. I've seen your bio, you're a software engineer. It takes a long time to build out that scope of work and go through that discovery. So to identify all the things that can go right, all the things that can go wrong, and then build a clear path for all the engineers to actually make it work. So we've gone through that process. They're a partner, but their role is limited to, the engineering side and making sure this thing works. And the biotech engineers, their job is to make sure their part works. We also signed with some really big brands. We brought over Kush Life, big cannabis brand. We brought over the Loonies, a big brand. We brought over Lavender Boys, which is probably the biggest brand right behind Cookies. We're working with Runts. We have Roots and Buds. So our model in Thailand for the cannabis wasn't just to be working in these shops and distributing, like selling, cannabis by the gram. We were creating the whole lifestyle where we bring the whole artists, we bring the brands, we bring everything over. And that's how we were so easily to get into the stores. Plus, we're the only ones that do consignment. So everybody's targeting these dispensaries and things like that. And what we were targeting were massage parlors, barbershops, cafes, places that tourists go. And these people had sustainable incomes for their other business. And all we did was offer them another, we put the stuff in for free. They sell. We come back at the end of the month. We split the money. We bring them more stuff. And it's just adding another $2,000, $3,000 a month to their already income. The people that are struggling in Thailand, just like you had in Canada and the U.S., are the people that open up these shops and they got to sell X amount of grams of something just to sustain the employment, the taxes, and the facilities. They're the ones who struggle. We try to keep our stuff out of those places, and we've been successful.
So that's great. So you guys kind of target, I guess, the people that already have existing businesses, and I guess kind of go after them. So let's say, I'm going to go get my hair has been growing super, super long. I got to cut it. So for example, an example would be like, I go, obviously I'm not a smoker, but let's say I go with my friend. My friend smokes a lot of weed. So I'll go with him. Let's say we both want to get our hair cut. And, you guys would be, I guess, there's I guess rolling joints or whatever, dap pens or whatever. And you guys are going to be the ones, I guess, supplying that type to, already existing businesses.
Correct. So we have the display unit on there. They're already prepackaged, and it got to the point like with the barber shops that, these are always in family areas, right? They're always strategically placed around 2,000 condos surrounding them. So when you put in place like that, it got to the point where people wouldn't even come get haircuts. Just on their way home, they pop in, hey buddy, let me get a bag of this, bag of that, and then they take it on. So being newly legal, we were trying to disperse what we called, decentralized wealth in Thailand. We're going to take this $3 billion industry and we're going to try to break it up between 400 shops versus, a few big time dispensaries. And we just killed them because our pricing is so low because we have the largest facility. So people are selling stuff at like 300 to 400 and we can sell at 200 and still make our $6 million. So it's very difficult to compete with, and we share the wealth across the board.
Damn, that's great, man. That's great. Dude, you put me onto something, man. I like in the future, maybe if I do something similar to that, I gotta really think outside the box. That's really great to hear, man. That you guys are I guess targeting sort of a thing that's kind of out of the norm, but it works in a specific way. That I guess that most people don't really think of. That's really, really smart. Yeah. All right, so I guess we got to get into community questions, man. A lot of great questions being asked. I don't know if you want to go through the discussion stuff on the latest post. You could read a bunch of the questions. So let's just go through a couple right now before we get into our Kahoot. Mike has prepared for us. Thank you, Mike. So let's go through the first question. So, okay. People are still typing, so it just sends me to the bottom every time I'm trying to read a question. That's why I hate Telegram. Hold on. Okay. For example, Greed asks is, will you factor in any safeguards or put them in place to protect small-scale farmers to ensure they're not forcibly consumed by corporations? And then also on the end of the scale, any large-scale geopolitical concerns that could arise, as the potential to upset global agriculture is very real here. Very good question, Greed.
Okay, so the first one I didn't hear. The second part for the agriculture global thing. So you have to keep in mind that this wasn't something we created and we're trying to break into a sector. We were literally asked to do this. So we're working with governments, mostly in Thailand, it's the Minister of the Minister of Health and the Minister of Commerce. In other places, you're working with the Minister of Agriculture and, the people who are responsible, also in the Minister of Commerce, the people who are responsible for feeding their countries, they're the ones who want this. They want the visibility and the traceability of these things. So it all goes to show what they're doing to contribute to helping to solve this global problem. This is a huge global problem. We don't hear a lot about it because it's not sexy, but if you do any research on it, it's like, the world is ending. There's not enough food for people. And then you have a lot of organizations out there that think the world is overpopulated, so they are doing things to counter. So less food is grown in places. So this is, and those kind of conditions only hurt, the lower income countries because they don't really care about our climate concerns or our global population concerns. These people just want to be able to have a living and feed themselves. And this is where we target. Our agricultural artificial intelligence, we call it our agriculture in a box. This is what we do when we build our facilities out here. We're using AI, again, from a Canada company, to track how to grow certain things. So you can grow literally the same thing we're growing here in Thailand. We can create the same conditions for you in West Africa, and you can grow the same 4A or 3A quality product, and it's sustainable. And that's what we want to do. So as opposed to trying to export it, import it, all that stuff, we just move the whole system out there. And what you need to run those systems, you need energy. Guess who owns an energy company? And you need clean water. And that's the two things that we primarily focused on. That's why they got us into doing this agricultural thing before we even knew there was an agricultural problem. So we provide like either solar, waste energy, enhanced biomass, something. The government gives you a power purchase agreement. So they're buying the power or they're buying the water on the water filtration system. It goes to a substation. They give you a 20-year concession. That's how you fund the greenhouse. That's how the people can grow for themselves without having to pay for it. That's how we do it. It's all revenue. And when we make revenue from a concession for water or for energy, it's not split off between the energy company and the Agritech company. You're all in or you're all out. Everything we generate is all part of that monthly revenue stream.
Okay, sick, man. Dude, there's just so many questions. Holy smokes. Let's see if I can try to get through some of them. Hold on, give me a second. I saw one that was super good. I really liked it.
I got you. I'm here as long as you need me, buddy.
Let me try to find it, man. Give me a second. Okay, here's one. So you mentioned a little bit, Alex asked, you mentioned a little bit about AI and such like that. So according to what I've read, Agritech mixes blockchain, DeFi, agricultural, artificial intelligence, which is the AAI, which is what it stands for, and traceable technology. So the purpose of AI in Agritech is something I'm curious about. What are the uses of artificial intelligence that will be, integrated in Agritech?
Okay, so this is what I just was talking about. So it's a great question. But so we take all the data. So as we're not just working cannabis in Thailand, right? So we have Singapore, we have a place in New York as well. So we take the data of what the farmers are growing, and then we track all that. So we use artificial intelligence to set a baseline. So they're tracking these things for several growth cycles in different climates. So you have fully climate controlled areas, and then you track all that data. So what the plan is that once we have that data tracked and it's on the blockchain, then what we want to do is we want to be able to export that data and that full system over to any place in the world, and they should be able to achieve the same exact thing because with the climate controlled room, they will have the same conditions that were set, so they can achieve the same 2A, 3A, 4A quality of the produce that we are growing. So literally you can grow Washington cherries, over here in Thailand with different climate as long as we can set the same temperature controls. So that's how the AI comes in. If we can't do the AI, then what we're telling countries, goes back to the UN and the G20, then you're telling communities that they can only grow certain types of food because the climate and the conditions that are in their country determines what they can grow. And what we said was, no, we can do it, but we have to do it this way. And that's with, climate controlled rooms. And the only way to afford that is to get these power purchase agreements or these water concessions, things like that fund these things. So that's why the AI is so important. We want to be able to export that technology to any place in the world so they can achieve the same standard that you would achieve, locally.
Okay, sick. That's really, really cool. So yeah, you mentioned a little bit about the AI, how it integrates together and stuff like that. But I'm just reading through some of these questions. These are great. These are some great questions. And I keep getting the questions, and I just end up losing it because people are just constantly writing new questions. Give me a second. Okay, here it is. Sure. Chillhouse asked we talked a lot about the long-term vision behind the project. But what are you guys focusing currently right now? Short term. it could be raising funds. It could just be anything. What are you guys currently focusing like right now, as well as a little bit about short-term progress with Agritech?
Okay. So, all right. So honestly, the short-term stuff right now is getting our finished products to market. So we have, like I said, we have the only extraction license in Thailand. We have FDA approval on all of our pharmaceutical and cosmetic. We have a large demand mostly for the cosmetic and medical grade pharmaceuticals in the US. We're already shipping to Australia. So we're just trying to take a little bit of money off the table. So we're focusing on that a little bit while we continue to build out the technology for the peer-to-peer marketplace. But there's not a lot we can do with that. It's in the software engineers' hands, and they're going through that. We expect that probably in a couple months to be completed. So right now we're focusing on just getting these resorts licensed, getting these dispensaries. Now that we have our product, our dry flower is already to go to market. We got all our packaging done, organizing our events for our brands to come from the U.S. to participate in, selling this stuff, and then slowly establishing relationships. So part of my other business as a contracting officer for 22 years, I spent my whole career overseas, meeting with government at government level, doing things like that for the DoD. And as the energy company and infrastructure, I have a very large network of people that I've had relationships with for 20 years. As I'm sure you guys know, you meet people in your 20s and then you get to be 50 and they're 50 and all of a sudden you guys are all in positions of power, can make decisions about things. And that's the way we kind of work with things. And my relationships with government just allows me to be able to deal directly with people at higher levels, because when we're dealing energy, it's always at the Minister of Energy level or somewhere around there. In Haiti, for example, we have an $8.5 billion funded contract right now, and I deal directly with the president of the political party down there, Alexander Telford Phils. If you look up him or you look up Agritech, you'll see us. We're all over that thing. When Haiti does its reconstruction, it's all coming through Agritech. We got the energy, infrastructure, and the agriculture for that contract.
Okay, sick.
So we won't have any problem expanding out. We just have to do it smartly so we don't get consumed by somebody huge.
Okay. Wow. That's super impressive. Really great to see. Yeah, man, I just read some of these questions. These are some great questions, but I really want to get into Kahoot. So obviously, if your question wasn't asked, you could still feel free to go ask in the Agritech Telegram, or you could ask Robert here himself. But obviously, if your question wasn't asked, you still have a chance to win, obviously, the best question. There's just so many great questions for today, man. I'm reading through some of these. These are some great questions. A lot of them are, I guess, repeats of one each other. A lot of people talked about the AI type stuff, but that was answered, and a lot of great questions being asked. I think Tucker here wants to raise up his hand. Here, Tucker, you may speak, my friend. I believe he's on the Agritech team. Where did he go? I don't know. Anyways, okay, let's get into our Kahoot. Mike, could you share the Kahoot on the main channel? Just put up a little bit. Okay, perfect. You already got it. He's fast. He's faster than me. All right, guys, make sure you guys join with your Telegram username on the Kahoot. This one's about Agritech. There's only 9 questions today, but it's all good. No worries. Mike's a little bit sick, so he usually helps me with the project reviews and the TikTok, sorry, Kahoots. So, guys, we're going to start up around when 25 people join. Make sure you put in your usernames and stuff like that. Super important. Looks like a lot of people are excited about this one. Man, this project was great. Definitely one of the better projects I've done an AMA with in quite a while. So super excited. We have another AMA booked tomorrow. Another project. They're doing pretty decent actually. They've done about a 10 to 15x from launch. But man, you guys are absolutely going to kill it. I can't wait to be doing I can't wait to be doing a lot of updates on the CryptoFrogs Gems here main channel about how you guys are progressing and going up in market caps and stuff like that, and sustainable revenue and passive income and stuff like that. Super excited about that. All right, guys, we're gonna wait till around 25 people join. Make sure you guys join with your Telegram username, please. Telegram username, not your Telegram name, your Telegram username. Okay, we're gonna start in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. I see there's 21. People are joining. People are leaving. Can't wait all day. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Why are people leaving? 7, 6,
I believe
5.
let's a little more time. I believe they're changing their names. So
Okay. All right. You know, yeah. Let's. Okay, we'll give them 30 more seconds then. Hey guys, hurry up, man. Just Telegram username. We do this every single time, and somehow people still like put in their Telegram name. Hey guys, please. Telegram username. Because here's the thing. The reason why we do this is because let's say you have an actual you just put your Telegram name and you end up winning. We can't really validate if that's really you because there could be so many people. There's so many frauds that just DM you saying they won the Kahoot giveaway, but they never ended up winning. It's just
I see a lot of that. That's funny. Those are my favorites.
Yeah. They'll do me like, sir, I won the Kahoot. No, you didn't. You have an extra M in your name, or you have an extra L. Like like come on, man.
Oh man, those are the best. Fighting with people. Like I did your pin post. I'm like, what? When? Just send me money. I love those.
Yeah.
So, who are you?
Sir, $5 giveaway. $5 giveaway for my community. I will post for 0.05 BNB. Like, come on, man. Your group is all botted.
Man, and then they send the screenshot of like some other conversation for someone you've already paid. And
yeah.
Like, you didn't pay me. Like, what? Who is this? Oh man, I've seen it all on here.
It's so funny, man. It's so funny.
It is funny. You can only laugh.
They're so smart with it too. They're like, bro, because I remember one time there was this. I fell for this. We had like an admin in one of like the Squid Girl channels. Because I was on like not the core team, but it was like I was like in the whale chat, and Steezy, which is like a marketer, he's a friend of mine. I didn't have any previous conversation with him, and I got scammed for like 0.5 BNB because he's like, "Yo, I just need 0.5 BNB. I'll send it back." Like quick sec, but I really thought it was him because the Steezy, it was like something regarding the I and the L. They looked exactly the same. Like, these people are so smart, man. They're so smart.
Oh, they're brilliant. They're brilliant.
Okay, let's start now. Let's start the Kahoot now. All right. Looks like some people joined. Okay, Mike, start it. Okay, I'm going to delete this.
Do I just stay right here?
Yeah, just stay right here. You're just going to see through the questions. I always like seeing the devs see the questions we made. So Agritech is created and owned by R2 Global Energy PT. I don't know. I forgot what PT stands for. Limited Singapore. True or false? Private.
Yeah,
My bad.
Yeah.
All right. Is this true or false?
Come
on, guys. This is why I always tell my people. I'm like, looks like everyone said true.
Yeah.
But I always advise, people before they join into the AMAs, that's why we always post it, 45 minutes. We'll put like the white paper and such. Then do a little bit of research because a lot of the Kahoot questions that are asked aren't really mentioned throughout the AMA. So if you want to really win the Kahoots and stuff like that, it's really important for you to do your, knowledge, like I guess read about the project before the AMA starts, and then all the information that's talked about during the AMA will be questions. Some of them that won't. It all depends. So which of the following statements is most correct if you were to ask what Agritech is? It's a Web3 cannabis company, a technology company solving many problems within the agricultural market, a climate-focused project seeking to help plant trees by utilizing tech, and a meat distribution company based out of Singapore. This is a great question, Mike.
Yeah, it's a good one.
And the answer is a technology company solving many problems within the agricultural markets. Come on, guys, meat.
Well, we do livestock also, but I don't think we discussed livestock.
No, definitely not. Agritech technology is consistent, scalable, traceable, transparency, sustainable, or all of the above. Hopefully this one's a pretty obvious one. Talked a little bit about at least 2 or 3 of the. Oh, I just gave the answer, but yeah, it's all of them. All right. Cryptos is first, Prav is second, James is third. fourth, and fifth. What is Agritech's primary use case? Voting rights for AGT holders, staking, food security, or incubation type service for farmers? P2P. Okay, what's the answer, guys? And the answer is food security. It looks like a lot of you got that right. Green was also a great, I guess, answer in a sense. I could see how people picked green. But what is the primary? The primary. All right. Question 5. Agritech has already begun their GemPad presale. Is this true or false? This is a little trick question, guys. I mean, if you did your knowledge, if you read a little bit before, or I guess noticed in the AMA, it's false. They're soon to release their GemPad presale. I believe it's in 4 days, Robert?
27th on Monday.
Okay, so 3 days then. Okay, perfect. All right. What are the third steps in phase 3 and 4 of the Agritech's roadmap? Okay, guys, this is why I'm always saying read the white paper, go to the website. Release of Agritech NFTs, global penetration of Agritech, AGT token deployment and staking, app beta testing, or exponential user growth and release of Agritech NFTs. The answer is release of Agritech NFTs and global penetration of Agritech. All right, it looks like James is third. Tough round. 3 players lost their answer streak of 3. This was definitely a harder question for sure. Question 7, guys. How many strategic partners does Agritech have listed on their website? We talked a little bit about this. It's many, I guess. That's your hint. And the answer is 5 to 7. Oh, in the cannabis market. Oh, that's the trick. Oh, I would have put 10 because I didn't even realize. Damn. Okay. Oh, you guys are great. You guys are killing it. Which of these supply allocation distributions are correct according to Agritech's white paper? 1 and 4 is correct. CX is 11%, staking rewards 15%, marketing 5%, or public sale 30%. All right, let's see. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is marketing 5%. Okay, we got the last question, guys. Looks like Retanang. I'm butchering that name for sure. Wow. Okay, last question, guys. Who is the CEO and CTO of Agritech? Robert Ramos, Ricardo Michela, CEO and CTO, Robert Ramos, Harold McKay Jr., and Ricardo Michela, and Karen Seji. I'm definitely not saying those names right, but all good. And it looks like the answer is Robert and Ricardo. All right, let's see who won. In third place, we have James. In second place, we have, wow, these that's very impressive. Looks like a lot of people got 9 out of 9. And the first place is Prav Retanand. Wow. Okay, guys. Wow, a lot of 2 people got, I think, perfect, I believe. That's very impressive. All right, thank you. All right, thank you so much, Mike. Just feel free to send me a screenshot and such. All right, man. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today's AMA. Thank you, Robert, as well. If you have any questions you guys want to ask, oh crap, we forgot to give away random listener. Okay, guys, I want you guys to go to Agritech's Telegram and just join it up, and I'll pick someone random. I want you guys to join right now.
And we have a whitelist going on as well. I don't know if Roxy contacted you. If anybody that wants to be on the whitelist, maybe they can just contact you or contact me, and not really sure how they do that.
Okay, guys, pick a Looks like a lot of people are verifying. Hold up. Okay, let me know what you guys thought of the AMA. Is the chat muted? Looks like it says sending messages is not allowed. Is the chat muted, guys? Or is it
Can
just
you hear me?
No, we can hear
hear
you, but like the chat,
Okay.
the chat, like the chat muted on like on the Telegram.
I see a lot of red lines through the microphones.
Did you see it? Because I can't type for some reason.
Just for clarification, Robert, he's referring to like the Agritech Telegram group. Sending messages is restricted.
Oh, 1 second. Let me let them know. So sending messages into the Agritech group is restricted.
Yeah. A lot of people are joining the Telegram, but it looks like they can't really say anything. I just wanted to pick someone random. That's why. Man, a lot of great questions asked for sure.
Oh, I see a lot of your people joining.
Test. But it looks like it's only people for ranks that could type at the moment. Okay, you know what? I'll pick someone after the AMA finishes. But yeah, guys, just come back in maybe 5 to 10 minutes. Let me know what you guys thought of the AMA. Say it below in the comments on the Agritech Telegram. And I'll pick someone in about 10 minutes. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day. Thank you, Robert, as well, for coming on and, talking a little bit about Agritech. I'm super bullish about this project. Honestly tempted to rate it, on the higher frogs. I think we gave it a 3 frog skill, I believe. But I think we might up it to even a 4 or potentially a 5, depending on how things go. But yeah, thank you so much, Robert, for joining. It really means a lot. Thank you all to the frogs for joining as well. We had around 150 people I saw at peak to join and tune in and listen in. So always amazing to see, guys. We have an AMA book tomorrow, so I'm super excited about that. And thank you all for joining. Peace out, everyone. Have an amazing day.
Good night.
Good night.